Well, hello, and welcome back for yet another episode of RV Life, What I Eat in a Week, brought to you by the Danae Collective. Hi, I'm Danae, and this is episode 39. This episode has a lot going on in it, I will admit. It's mostly because for a good portion of time, I was not really making anything, like food-wise, and that's because I was trying to clean out everything that I already had in my fridge that was going to go bad, because I was taking a trip with my brother that I thought was going to be 2 nights and 3 days, but it was actually 4 nights and 5 days. Whoops. Anyway, on this day, I think this said this was the 16th, I ended up making a fresh squeezed juice. I had already made one prior to this, which you would have seen in a different episode earlier on, but this time around I wanted to incorporate beets. So I've got 3, I want to say medium to small beets, like 2 of them aren't that big, but I think I only used 1 to 1.5 of them for this particular juice, and then the other ones I prepped and froze for a future juice project. I also pulled out what I already had prepped in the freezer, which was carrots, celery, half a lemon, and I think there was some ginger in that bag already, but I ended up adding more ginger, a whole lime, and I think I added an orange to this. I don't know. You'll have to watch. My hands were so red after this. I was so happy that it didn't last forever, because that would have been interesting to explain why I only had 1 red palm. Into this, I'm also adding 1 bottle of water and a dollop, I guess I would say, of honey. It probably could have used a little bit more honey because beets are pretty earthy. There's that lemon that I said. I know I said lime earlier, but the subtitles and right now is correct. It's a lemon. I saved the peels and put that into a tea, which you'll see I end up popping the, yep, there I go, putting the peels into the strainer for later. And then because I am going to give a lot of these like beet pieces to the rabbits outside, I'm keeping things that they can't eat out of this bag. So it's basically some beet skins, some beet tops, and then all the ginger skin will go in the trash because I don't have a compost. Yes. I'm actually using just like a simple coffee filter, which comes with the cloth and the stick already attached, because I, one, could not find cheesecloth when I was looking for it, but I found this and I was like, you know what, that'll do. That'll do, pig, that'll do. think that the coffee filter method actually went really well because I didn't have to worry about, I don't know, like the cheesecloth opening up on me because I'm very clumsy. What ended up happening instead, which I did not include in this, was I tossed all the pulp back into the blender so I could get rid of all the other parts and pieces, and then I knocked the blender off the counter, and all that pulp that was in the blender ended up on the rug that goes in front of the stove. So, yeah. Anyway. Already have some pre-made grilled chicken, which was featured in probably last Sunday's video, where I had done some meal prep, and I had two different types of chicken that I ended up making. I did some grilled the herbs de Provence chicken, and then I also did some Cajun spiced chicken bites. Now, I still had quite a bit of this left, and I just wanted to figure out, okay, what am I doing with it? Because I had already put some of the Cajun chicken bites with some salad mix, and I still had, I don't know, like 4 chunks of the Cajun chicken bites plus the 2 chicken breasts, although technically this is 1 chicken breast that got split in half, so I still had the 1 chicken breast. Let's stop mincing words and worry about mincing chicken. No, I'm kidding. I'm such a dork. Anyway, while I was checking my fridge and the little mini fridge outside, I wanted to verify like what I could get through in the next couple of days before I took my trip. That way I could maximize my food and not have to worry about buying anything while at work or etc. etc. So in this case, I decided I was going to take those 2 chicken breasts and the Cajun chicken bites, and I was going to make 2 lunch containers for that. So since the Cajun chicken bites are already prepared, all I needed to do for that was just add some of this veggie pasta that I'm making along with the sauce and the broccoli, and then that's its own little dish. And then in a separate container, the pasta, the chicken, the broccoli, the sauce. That way I have 2 meals for ready to go lunch. And then the third portion is going to end up being my dinner for this night. Since I am supposed to be leaving on my trip to Ohio with my brother, I think it's either the next day or like 2 days after this, I decided I was going to go ahead and use the steak that I had defrosting in the fridge because I really didn't want to have to throw it back in the freezer. And I was craving, craving hardcore rice to go with this, but I really didn't feel like having to make rice because I knew I wasn't going to eat all of it in the same day. So I'm like, you know what, forget it, I'll just see what else I have. And I knew I had some noodles because I had bought this interesting Korean bibimbap noodle package, which I guess is like a sweeter soy sauce based version of ramen. And this is a guess because I honestly don't know what the actual package says on it, but this is based on like the flavor that I was getting from it. It had like a subtle sweetness, it had some heat to it, but to be fair, that heat was probably coming from the gochujang paste that I added towards the end because I had tasted it and I was like, sweet, no, want sweet. So if I had not wanted, nope, let's try that again. I did not want to have to clean a bunch of dishes because my plan was to have the countertops completely clear just in case Jack decided he wanted to jump on them and like rub his face against the faucets and handles and all that. So I made sure before I left that I turned off the water supply, because if he did turn on the water, there would be no way for me to turn it off from where I was, and that would be a huge issue as well as a waste of money. So I was like, let's be smart, let's just turn it off, right? Everything that he needed was plugged in, fully refilled and ready to go. So in the end, I knew that if I pulled out my rice cooker, that would be yet another thing that I had to clean and have to deal with drying it fully and putting it away. So I'm like, you know what, let's try to minimize this and do as much of this in one pan as possible. That way I could get everything clean, it'd have time to dry off, or I could like quick dry it and it wouldn't be a huge hassle, and then I could just put it all away, have everything nice and clean. And I'm so happy that I did that because considering the fact that the trip was longer than initially planned, I had to reach out to my coworker, who is an absolute angel, and she was able to come and check on him every other day. That way he could get some wet food and she can make sure that he's eating and he's not sitting at home sulking. He did start to sulk by the last day because I was checking in with him via my little webcam, security camera or whatever, and I was talking to him through it, and I think that was just making him angry because he's like, I hear mommy, but I don't see mommy. I don't understand what's going on. So I told him on the last day, I'm on my way home, I'll see you tonight, da da da. And then I get home and he's giving me the cold shoulder, and after like 20 minutes he starts meowing his little head off at me like he was chewing me out, like, I thought you weren't coming back, and da 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 da. And then he was giving me love and biting me like, you better pet me, you've been gone for a long time. It was pretty funny. Anyway, this is the day of the trip. The weather was beautiful, which was kind of hilarious because this is the day that a nor'easter started blowing across the United States. Thank you so much for joining us on yet another episode of Harvey Life, What I Eat in a Week, brought to you by the Janae Collective. Don't forget to like and subscribe in order to get notified of additional content we release every Sunday. Have a wonderful week. Come back and see us again. Bye.